Hi, everyone. This show is called Premonition because these drawings that are now very complex start out just as a field of dots, graphite dots, that I make by doing a frottage on a big stone. And so then I put them up on the wall and I kind of contemplate the dots, the field of dots, until I have a sense of what is going to be there. And then I begin to draw. And these drawings are very additive, you know, one line after another. And it's a slow process. And in fact, some of these are so old. They started in 2016 when we were in Ireland, and I was making frottages on a Neolithic tomb or monument. And I began by putting this particular piece on the wall in the studio where I had a residency, and I began to draw, and I reached a point where I didn't know what to do. So it went in the drawer for X number of years. So these things really take a long time, and I'm not even sure when they go up on the wall that I'm finished. Some of these that are newer, like these pieces, I was still drawing on them as I was putting them up. I can still see a place. You know, once the image begins to form, this is the interesting part for me, is that then I become engaged. I'm not sure how it's going to end, but because it's ambiguous, I'm drawn to it again and again. And so, you know, time goes by and I continue to draw on it. Another way of sort of talking about this kind of line work is it's not as much about the line as it is about line as painting. In other words, trying to get subtle shadings and so forth. And because it takes place so slowly, I can kind of feel my way into the form. I admire Chinese or Japanese brush painting where the brush is loaded with ink and water, and in one stroke a mountain is formed or a waterfall. I can't do that. I have to go in there and create it, you know, line by line by line. That's kind of the way I work. I think the underlayment is the natural form, and after that, an imaginative form, and after that is a kind of place in art history that is interesting to me. So all these things are kind of present as I work, and I hope they show through in the final drawings. I will take questions if anybody has them, because I don't know what else to say.
I really like the relationship that you drew from a brush, and that you said that because I'm standing across from this piece, and I can actually see in your drawing that it actually has that movement, just like the brush would, but by hand drawn, and I really appreciate that you brought that up.
It was a discovery, you know. I just didn't know what you know, it's like trying to think of how I would characterize this, and I realized that that's one of the things that was interesting to me. I was also fascinated by the metal plate engravings of the Renaissance when they were trying to reproduce paintings. They didn't have a way of doing it, so they made these big, beautiful etchings, really, or engravings, and they used line to indicate distance and foreground and color and texture and everything. And I found myself totally fascinated by the backgrounds. You know, in the foreground, somebody has a sword and a dragon is being stabbed, but in the background, there's a castle and a hillside and a creek and a little boat going by and all this kind of stuff, and it's all done with lime. And just love it, you know, I just love that magical background behind everything. And that's kind of one of the things that I try to work with, you know. This piece and this piece were both started during COVID, and they were my sanctuaries. This one is called an eccentric refuge, because that's how I felt about being in the studio during that time.